And this is what made him who he was. He was Prophet of Allah. He had trained himself. He had gone through so much. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had trained him. He went through thick and thin, and he became a stronger personality. You see him from very tender age. When he was a small child, he was very tolerant, very forbearing, extremely patient, even as a child. And this was the result and barakah of the cleaning of his heart at the age of 5 or 4, when he was with Hazrat Halima Sa'diyah radiyallahu anha. He went out to play with his friends on the outskirts of the area, and it so happened that whilst they were playing, two men approached the kids, and they got hold of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the young boy, and they laid him down, opened his chest, took his heart out, washed it, blocked some vein in there, which was the route for shaitan, the entry of shaitan, and after cleaning it, washing it, placed it back and sew his chest. Within a few minutes and within a flash, they disappeared. There were two angels, Jibreel and Mikail alayhim salam, in the form of human beings. And his friends ran to his mother, Halima Sa'diyah, and said, Inna Muhammad qad qutil, Inna Muhammadan qad qutil, Muhammad's been killed, Muhammad's been killed, Muhammad's been killed. So what happened? When this happened, two men came and they just put him down and opened his chest and took his heart out. And his mother, breastfeeding mother, she and her husband, they both ran and they went there. And by that time, the operation, that heart transplant, had already taken place. And he was standing, his color was pale, he was changed. And they asked him, what happened? I don't know. Two men came, they opened my heart and they did this to me. And they, Alhamdulillah, they're grateful, still alive. They bring him home. And then they say that Halima was scared. And she said, we have to take him back to his mother now. Just leave him. Something might happen to him. Some jinn, bhoot, jadoo, something. I don't want anything to happen to him. I don't want any blame. So they brought him back. This hadith is in Sahih Muslim. Now what was this? In Sahih Muslim, the word is, Sayyiduna Jibreel Amin alayhi salam said during the transplant, هَذَا حَظُّ الشَّيْطَانِ مِنْكَ. This was the portion of shaitan from you, his root in your heart. We blocked it. He can't get into your heart. That means Prophet ﷺ grew up in the most, beautiful way a child could be brought up. He had no greed in him. He had no bad manners in him. He had no ill behavior in him. He would never lie. He would never cheat. He was a very nice, soft, kind, gentle, kind-hearted person from the very tender and young age. He was fatherless. His father died 2 months before his birth. And then his mother died when he was only 6. And his grandfather died when he was 8. Now he's growing up in his uncle's house. Now it's not easy growing up in an uncle's house. No mother, no father to look after you. But he was an extremely patient person. At times of food, kids would jump on the food, but he would stay on one side. When they finish, whatever is left over, he ate with Bismillah. They would never be greedy for food, as normal children would be. So he grew up in the best possible manner. Our Hazrat has mentioned in Jamal-e Muhammadi, in his Seerah biography, when he was 10, he went on a journey towards south with his uncles. A 10-year-old boy, but he was extremely energetic, hard-working. He would do everything what he could, what was in his capability. He would do khidmat of everyone, look after the camels, running around. If anything needs to be brought, he would bring it, tie the camels and, help in preparing the food. And then there was a battle, Harbul Fijar, during that period. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, I was helping my uncles when they were training. I would run around and get to when they are practicing, you have to run and get the bows from their targets and give them back to the person who's shooting the arrows. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I was doing all that running around and helping. At the age of 12, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam went with his uncle for tijarat. His uncle was going, everything was, preparation were being made. So he did everything what he could for his uncle, preparing the goods which are needed, sandwiches and whatever is needed along the journey. And when everything is ready, his uncle is about to go, he's there standing looking at him. So Abu Talib had pity on him and he said, Muhammad, I can't leave you alone here, come with me. So he didn't take any of his kids, he took his nephew. But when he reaches a place called Taima, there was Buhaira Rahib who saw him. And he recognized that he is who he is. He had, on a hilltop, he had a small sanctuary. And he would sometimes stand outside and look at caravans passing by. So when this caravan was passing by and they stopped near there under the shade of a tree, he looked at them. And then he came down from the hill. And he went into the middle of the caravan. And he took hold of this young boy, 12-year-old. And he said, هذا رسول رب العالمين هذا يبعثه الله رحمة للعالمين. So they asked him, are you okay? Something wrong with you? He said, no, I'm telling you the truth. This young boy is going to be Rasul of Allah subhanahu. He is going to be Rahmatul lil Alameen. So how do you know? I said, I was watching from there. And whilst you were moving, I saw that the trees and the rocks were bowing down, prostrating to him, lowering before him. This is a Ruhani sajda, which is called, which Ahlullah, because he was a wali of Allah of the time. He was a Rahib. He was on the right deen of Sayyiduna Isa alayhi salam. So he was a wali of Allah. So he saw him, he saw this. And then he said, you stay here, I want to prepare some food for you. I want to do your da'wat. They said, okay. So he prepared some food. And when he was ready and everybody was called to eat, he said, where is Muhammad? And they said, he's looking after the, camels. They said, call him over, he has to eat as well. So they called him over. When he came and sat down, the shade of the tree leaned towards Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So I said, did you not see that? The shade of the tree, he was sitting in the sun, so it leaned and covered him with that shade. Then he begged Abu Talib to send him back to Makkah. He said, if you go any further and the Jews of the area where you're going, they see what I have seen, they'll either harm him or try to kill him, murder him. Please don't take him with you, send him back to Makkah. So Abu Talib sent him back to Makkah Mukarramah. This riwayat is in Mishkatul Masabih and it is narrated on the authority of Sunan al-Tirmizi. So from that time, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself knew that something big is going to happen to him.